Hey everybody, Rachel Bogle here at the WMBF First Alert Desk. Happy Monday. Hopefully it started out and been a good one for you. I'll tell you, we have certainly been busy here today, so I don't want to waste any time and get right into it. As always, though, before I get into the stories, I do have my Facebook stream up, so if you want to go ahead and just chime in the comments, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. If you want to just ask any questions about any of the stories I'm going to walk you through, feel free to ask them there or just kind of chime in and let me know what you think about them. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it, starting with this one. So a jury will decide if convicted killer Raymond Moody, who you can see here, if he is financially responsible for Brittany Drexel's kidnapping, rape, and murder nearly 16 years ago. Now, if you are not familiar with the Drexel case, this is one of the most notorious cases here in the Grand Strand. Drexel was 17 years old when she went missing, and then we later learned that Raymond Moody had confessed to kidnapping, raping, and killing her. So a civil trial got underway this afternoon, which really centers around a personal injury lawsuit that Drexel's mom, Dawn Conley, filed in January of last year. So she's suing Moody for intentional infliction of emotional distress and outrage. The lawsuit states Moody deprived Conley of the, quote, ongoing love and affection a child gives a parent and intentionally caused her emotional distress by, of course, taking her daughter's life. So Moody is already serving life in prison after he entered a guilty plea back in 2022. He also told authorities where to find her remains. So while representing himself today, Moody told the court he had no intention of putting up a defense. So this should be a pretty quick process. So closing arguments in Moody's civil trial will begin tomorrow. We are expecting a verdict at some point in the afternoon. Of course, we'll be closely watching that. We'll also have more tonight on WMBF News at 11 from Brittany's mom's testimony during today's proceedings. So you'll certainly want to join us tonight for that. Also, here I'm going to pop myself up because we will have quite a few mugshots tonight, so just kind of forewarning you for that. So this is one of them. So deputies have made 2 more arrests now as part of a shooting investigation out in Darlington County. So the sheriff's office out there confirms Trevante Johnson and Madison Perkins were arrested this morning. Here is a look at them. This is, again, directly from our website where you can always read up on any and all of these stories. So again, these 2 were arrested this morning. This is in connection to a shooting along Black Creek Road that sent 2 people to the hospital back on January 30th. So the following day, deputies arrested Davrius Wilson, charging him with obstruction of justice and providing false information in connection to this incident. Meanwhile, Perkins and Johnson, who again both taken into custody today, they are both charged with breach of peace, while Johnson faces an additional charge of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. At last check, both of them are being held at the W. Glenn Campbell Detention Center awaiting a bond hearing. And then for this next story, we also know 3 people who you're looking at here. They're facing charges in connection to a kidnapping investigation. So again, staying in the PD for this one. So the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announced the arrests of Tony Carter, Thomas Solomon, and Brandy Dowling last week. So you're looking at all of those individuals in the order that I named them there. So a 4th suspect, though, Donald Campbell, he is still at large. So they're hoping maybe you folks could help track him down. So let's go back to how we got here. So warrants say back in August of last year, Carter and Solomon approached a victim about a stolen truck on West Market Street in Timmonsville. Excuse me. That's where Carter allegedly punched that victim, who then tried to run away from them. Warrants say that Campbell then drove a vehicle and hit that victim as he was crossing South Pinckney Street before Carter and Solomon allegedly zip-tied the victim and forced them into the truck. At some point when the truck came to a stop, the victim was somehow able to get away and then try to make a run for it there to a convenience store. But apparently after telling the owner of a convenience store to call the police, that victim says they were then taken by the group again and ultimately left in a ditch. So authorities say after all of this, video evidence and statements ultimately led to all 3 arrests, but again, still one person at large. That is Donald Campbell. So If you know anything about this or his whereabouts, you are asked to go ahead and call SLED and hopefully maybe help track these individuals down. All right, I'm going to pop myself back up here for this next one, or these next two actually, because we do not have any video. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of giving IDs on some individuals who passed away in a couple crashes. So, just going to have myself up here as I just tell you what we know. So we now know the name of the person who died in a crash in Darlington County last night. The coroner there says 75-year-old Nathaniel Rogers died after the car he was in veered off the road, then flipped around 8:30 Sunday night. So state troopers say this happened on Indian Branch Road near Galloway Town Road. This is just south of Hartsville. So we're told crews airlifted the driver to a hospital. It's unclear how they're doing now, while Rogers, who was a passenger in that vehicle, died at the scene. South Carolina Highway Patrol is still investigating that crash. And then moving out here a little bit closer to us, we also know one person is dead, unfortunately, after a crash in the Conway area over the weekend. So the Horry County coroner says 40-year-old Robin Richardson was driving down Beverly Road Saturday morning when he lost control. He reportedly hit a fence and mailbox before flipping several times, throwing him from the car. We're told he did later die at the hospital. State Highway Patrol is also investigating this crash. All right, so kind of lightening it up, even though this next story certainly will be bittersweet for a lot of folks. But we do have an update for you to a story we first brought you Friday on WMBF News at 11. Coastal Carolina University's president is now set to become a mountaineer. So West Virginia University confirming today Michael T. Benson will become its next president in July, following more than 4 years of service to students and staff in Conway. In his time at CCU, Benson oversaw yearly rises in enrollment and helped the school secure its largest ever endowment fund. And that is just a couple of many accomplishments. He also took some time today on social media just to thank the school community for a, quote, amazing ride together, also saying he will always be part of Teal Nation. Again, WVU says Benson will take office there in July. So we certainly do wish him all the best. Also, CCU says it is already getting to work starting that nationwide search for the next president of the university. All right, heads up for you drivers here, and just a little bit of a don't worry. So if you see smoke in the Carolina Forest area over the next few days, Horry County Fire Rescue says don't freak out. Don't worry. The agency says its crews will be helping with a controlled burn, or actually a couple controlled burns this week. So that's kind of to mitigate any wildfire risks. So drivers, you can expect one of those burns to close off part of a busy road. So specifically, we are talking about International Drive from Highway 90 to Ocean Bay Elementary School. So that will be closed beginning tomorrow at 8 in the morning. So you're going to want to plan ahead if that is on your typical morning commute. Alternate route options include Highway 501 and Highway 22. We're told that closure could last until the end of the week, but of course we'll let you know as soon as we learn exactly when they reopen that stretch of road. All right, going to pop myself back up here for just a minute to talk about the forecast. So we were dealing with some chilly conditions last week. Finally, though, we are saying goodbye to the colder weather and hello to some spring-like temperatures this week. Looking good, right? So we can expect some more sunny skies tomorrow as we continue that warming trend this week. Tuesday's highs in the low 70s inland and then upper 60s near the beaches. More of the same coming our way for Wednesday. And then Thursday, we will stay warm. We're talking temperatures around 70 for afternoon highs, both inland and near the beaches. But that's also when we can start seeing some more clouds beginning to thicken. And that is ahead of our next rainmaker late Thursday and into early Friday. But for the most part, y'all, we are looking pretty good this week. Not a whole lot of reason to complain. Hopefully Mother Nature keeps us going on this mode. Because I don't know about you, but I am tired of the cold. All right, so we have one story for you that I just want to go ahead and quickly bring up for New at 11 before we get cracking on this newscast for you. New at 11, I can tell you Horry County Schools is touting its progress tonight with a new and somewhat controversial policy that we have talked quite a bit about in the lead up to it going into effect. So Horry County Schools' new superintendent, Clifford Jones, claims students are, for the most part, cooperating with the district's new ban on cell phone use on campus. So far, he says there's been about a dozen elementary school referrals, less than 100 middle school referrals, and around 1,000 high school referrals for those violating the policy. So despite running into some challenges at the high school level, which, hey, I was a high schooler once too, so that is not super surprising that it's a bit harder for them to kind of put those phones down. Jones says despite that, the policy has been a success overall. So you can hear more about that tonight on WMBF News at 11. But for now, that's going to do it for this update from the WMBF First Alert Desk. Hopefully you can stay up a little over an hour or so longer and join us tonight for WMBF News at 11. But I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here real soon. Take care.